One of the best Fortnite players in the world realized that he wanted to go all in on competitive after winning my Fortnite Icon PlayStation Cup. His name is Shxrk, and at just 14 years old, he has become one of the most efficient solo fighters in competitive Fortnite. Winning tournament after tournament, he's taken down some of the best players in the world. With a playstyle that feels years ahead of his age, he's calm under pressure, relentless in stacked lobbies, and one of the best at predicting his opponent's next move. This is the story of Shxrk and why everyone should be keeping an eye on him. Before Fortnite, Shxrk pretty much only played mobile games and Minecraft, but that changed when his brother introduced him to Fortnite during Chapter 1, Season 7. At the time, Shxrk was only 7 years old. 7. Most kids playing video games at that age are just trying to figure out basic mechanics like moving and aiming. There was no way for them to know just how good Shxrk would become. At first, Fortnite was just another fun game to play with his brother after school, but over time, it stopped being casual and Shxrk started to improve really quickly. Eventually, he started to compete in different cash cups and tournaments on console. He didn't ever queue up thinking he was going to win, he just wanted to play for fun. But once he played in the SypherPK PlayStation Cup in early 2024 and actually came in first place, everything changed. He was beating pros like Moneymaker, Cringe, and Pixie, and while he only won by a few points, the difference between first and third was almost 100 points. It gave him validation that he wasn't just good for his age. Shxrk realized he could compete at a pro level. Fortnite stopped becoming just a game, it became a goal. And one of the consistent things in Shxrk's come up is his support system. From the very beginning, his family always supported and believed in him. They didn't just brush it off as just a video game or treat it like a phase. They supported him in his dream of becoming a professional Fortnite player. And when you're competing at such a young age, that kind of belief matters. Talent can get you started, but belief is what keeps you going. Shxrk didn't become this good by accident. He put in a ton of work to learn how to be one of the best in the game. A lot of young players are getting known for one thing. They're fast, flashy, and they're known for insane clips. Shxrk is different. His game is built around control, and it stems from who he looks up to. Shxrk watches pros like King from Brazil and Peterbot, not necessarily because they win, but how they win. They don't waste movement, they don't overcommit to fights, and they don't let fights drag on longer than they need to. Watching top pros in other regions helped Shxrk build his own style. He wasn't just copying their mechanics, he was watching and learning from their decision making. He studied how these top players apply pressure, bait edits, and end fights quickly without taking unnecessary damage. Then he took that mindset and applied it to EU, and over time it turned him into one of the most efficient solo fighters in the region. A lot of pros have rituals or routines on big tournament days. They warm up in 1v1s, they grind scrims, doing things like aim training. Clicks will even meditate to get in the right mindset. Shxrk doesn't really do that. He just queues into tournaments like any other game. He trusts his instincts and his ability to adapt in real time, which is a huge part of his playstyle. Shxrk gets compared to Peterbot a lot, and it's not just speed, but it's confidence. Shxrk fights like he expects to win every encounter. You see it in the way he holds his angles, the way he continues to pressure players, even when the fight doesn't look like it's going in his favor. I was watching one of his games from the Esports World Cup, and for a second, I genuinely thought I was watching at 2x speed. That is how fast he moves through his decisions. Some really good tags. I honestly thought I had the speed set to 2x, but he's actually just moving this fast, which might be why Shxrk's favorite meta in Fortnite so far was during the Wrecked season. He absolutely loved using the Nitro to break through builds. There are a lot of fast players, but the difference is that Shxrk uses speed to take control, not just to show off. He's an expert at fighting to force mistakes out of his opponents. In Chapter 7, Shxrk will do this thing where he fakes a disengage, and from the opponent's perspective, they think the fight is over. They might come out to rotate or look up to get shots on him, and the second they step out, Shxrk is already underneath them, full boxing them from below. It's control. Shxrk does not let the opponent decide how the fight is played out. If the player wants to sit in a metal box to slow the fight down, Shxrk speeds it up. If the opponent wants to take a safe peek, Shxrk changes the angle. And if the opponent wants to heal, Shxrk will cancel it. He's constantly switching pressure points. He will hit one angle, then instantly reposition. And this really messes with the opponent's mentality because they never get a moment where they feel stable. They start panicking, they make edits they shouldn't make, reset at the wrong time, or even move into a corner that Shxrk already predicted. His pressure is deliberate, and another reason people compare him to Peterbot is the way he takes risks. Shxrk will commit at lower HP if he knows the opponent is cracked and the fight is finishable. A lot of players would reset, but Shxrk does the opposite. He'll piece, take the angle, and end the fight. It's confidence mixed with smart decision making, and it's something you only get when you're used to fighting at a high level. That's what genuinely doesn't make sense for a 14-year-old. You can tell a lot by just watching players. A brick base with no cones, that's usually a weaker player. A wood 2x1 in mid-game, that player is in shambles. Certain build patterns and the player is already panicking. Once he knows what kind of player you are, he changes how he fights you. If he sees a run and rebox type player, he stops wasting time trying to wall replace and just charges at them as they run. If he sees a weaker player, he'll fight aggressively and end the fight fast. If he sees a good player, he'll fight a little slower and more calculated. The adaptability is what separates him from players who are only mechanical. He also tries to play an invisible angle in endgames. He'll crouch constantly during rotates and will only sprint when he needs to cross zone. It's one of the best ways he gets his refreshes. Players drop down thinking they're safe because they don't see footsteps, then Shxrk is suddenly there. When he does take fights, he doesn't overpeak. He hugs walls and waits until his opponents get impatient or make a mistake. Then he hits them with peaks that aren't standard. Layered stair peaks, quick floor peaks, and unexpected edits. Some of the peaks he uses are very unique to his style. We see Shxrk constantly use these techniques to dominate tournaments, but not every tournament has gone exactly how Shxrk was hoping. During the last chance qualifier for FNCS Major 3, he was playing with Comeback and Blacha. They had 3 games to play, and all they had to do was win one of them in order to qualify for the last FNCS.
Of Cammy's team on high ground, the shockwaves coming out, the Spire Assault Rifle breaking apart the builds, Comeback finds Itoshi, that's a good refresh. Robin can't quite hit the shot, Kylie getting hit hard, Timu getting hit hard, this is bad. This is fantastic for Cammy's team, everyone on low ground's falling, they're griefing each other, low ground is in shambles, Let Flow is already playing the heal off, Comeback 30 in the Chug Jug, it's a 3v1v1, Comeback, let's go with the Chug, doesn't get the Siphon. I think we needed that Siphon to win this, but Cammy, we have the heal grenades, Comeback dropping back, nothing to do, and no surprise, we get the 10 elimination win.
Shxrk's team sadly got 2nd place in game 1, and then 2nd place in game 2, and then 2nd again in game 3. The competitive community really felt for Shxrk and his trio for how rough this was, because their performance throughout was extremely strong. To make matters worse, Shxrk's team left behind a Chug Jug during one game, and another pro would eventually find it and use it to win that game against them. It was probably one of the most unlucky tournaments we have ever seen, and it unfortunately caused his team to not qualify. This made him very upset since it would have been his first FNCS major qualification. He even considered quitting. But the more he thought about it, he realized this was a good opportunity for him to grind more, because everything happens for a reason and he knew his moment will come. And that's exactly what he did. He kept grinding and showed just how good he really was. At the start of 2025, he was only 13 with a few $1,000s earned. But by the end of the year, he would go to hit over $100,000. Shxrk continued to team up with Blacha and Comeback to play 3 more tournaments against FNCS caliber trios, placing 5th, 2nd, and 1st, earning the trio a total of $27,600. Throughout July and September 2025, he was competing on console again. He actually won 1st place in back-to-back PlayStation Cup finals, which is insane because he won the whole tournament after dying to fall damage with 83 people alive. In October 2025, he played Division Duos tournaments with Teeny, and he ended up finishing in 17th, 4th, and 2 first place finishes, earning them $18,200. They were so far ahead in one of the tournaments that they didn't even have to play the last game to stay in 1st place. And recently we had the NVIDIA GeForce RTX Cup, where he got 1st place. He was able to get a RTX 5080 and $4,000. And he hasn't slowed down going into 2026. He won 3 out of the 6 games in the Division 1 Cup finals, earning $10,000 in 1st place with his duo Teeny. You might be thinking his duo is carrying him in all of these tournaments, but if you look at his placements in solo tournaments, he's managed to earn nearly $60,000 from solo cash cups, PlayStation Cups, and solo series tournaments. But one of Shxrk's favorite career moments happened recently when he qualified for the Esports World Cup finals with Teeny. 2 teams got to qualify for land from EU, and they came in 1st during the Elite Series finals, which earned them $30,000. So we're going to be seeing him play in August against some of the best players in the world from every region. All of this solidifying that he is one of the best players currently in EU, which has been known for being the hardest region to compete in because of the huge player base and widespread participation in high-level scrims. Shxrk has no plans on slowing down anytime soon. Shxrk told me that he has eyes on an FNCS championship and a qualification to globals, and if he continues to improve the way he has, he could become one of the best Fortnite players we have ever seen. Thank you for watching.